everyone, I'm Holly from Hand Printed, and in this project I'm going to use Permaset Puff Paste to print some puffy spiders on a tote bag. Permaset Puff Paste is a great additive. You can add them to your textile screen printing inks. I'm going to be adding it to Permaset standard jet black screen printing ink. And then you heat your prints with a heat gun to make them puff up. I have already prepared a screen. I've got here some spiders that are exposed onto a screen, but you can use paper stencils if you like a quick project at home without too much equipment. If you'd like an exposed screen and you're in the UK, we can make one for you at Hand Printed. Head over to our website to see the details of that, but otherwise you can just use paper stencils or screen fluid and filler. We have videos on that too, to make your screen. This is quickly how I made this screen. I used a Jacquard opaque film marker on a piece of inkjet screen film. The drawing needs to be in an opaque pen because it needs to block the light when we are exposing the screen. So this Jacquard pen is a great option. I use Speedball photo emulsion that's already been mixed with sensitizer. Pour a little out into the trough. I usually have about a third to half full. Use a scoop coater to drag a layer of emulsion up the screen and scrape off excess to have a nice even layer, and then that dries in the dark. Excess photo emulsion can go back in the pot, and if I store that in the fridge it should last from 4 to 6 months. It goes in the exposure unit with the design underneath, and then we use a jet wash to wash out that unwanted emulsion in the design to create areas of open mesh where we want our ink to go through. I've taped up the edges and I'm ready to mix my ink. So I've just made this mix here. It's about 25% Permaset Jet Black standard screen printing ink and 75% Permaset Puff Paste. Looks pretty dark in here, but it will be paler when we've puffed it up, so it should be a mid sort of grey. The more puff paste you add, the puffier your print will be, but it also means that the colour will be paler. So you need to balance the strength of the colour you want with the puffiness that you want. So I've got my tote bag down here on a padded surface. This is a blanket stretched over a board, so we've got a little bit of padding there. And I've stuffed my tote bag with a piece of card so that no ink goes onto the other side. Screen on top. Then my ink. Squeegee at 45-degree angle, drag the ink down the screen. Leave the ink behind at the bottom, back to the top and push hard this time. So I went over with my squeegee a few times to put down quite a thick layer of ink, a little thicker than I would normally use, and I let it dry partially. It's been about 25 minutes since I printed this, so it's still a little tacky, but it's pretty dry. I'm now going to use a heat gun to puff up the print. So what should happen is the ink will start to puff and rise off the surface. The print will get a bit paler, and hopefully we can see our results. I want it nice and hot. You can also do this with an iron by hovering the iron over the print, but it's easier to see with the heat gun. I just want to make sure that I don't scorch my fabric by holding it too long in one space. Before you heat set a puff paste print, I'd recommend you do a little test on the scrap fabric first to get your heat setting right, because it can vary the results a little bit. So here I've got my puffy spiders. Hopefully you can see that they're really raised on the surface. The texture's gone a little fluffy, kind of feels a bit rubbery. The colour's a bit paler than it was when it was printed, so it's lightened into a dark grey, but the puff is really effective. It's worked so well. You can find this puff paste, all the other Permaset inks, tote bags, screen printing supplies at handprinted.co.uk. Happy printing!